Back.
Yeah.
There we go. Can't believe I forgot to add my own voice channel. Hello, 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 everyone. I am so excited. I'm also very excited to get, hopefully, not realistically all the scuff, but maybe like 70% of the scuff out of the way ahead of time. So, tonight we are going to be playing. Oh god, thank you for the hydrates. Tonight we are going
Please
to
do
be
not
playing.
drown.
I'll try. I'm still chewing through this roast beef. Alright.
Perfect time to go live.
I know. See, look, I'm getting all the stuff out of the way ahead of time, hopefully. We'll see. Alright, so yes, I would like to thank everyone so very, very much for helping and supporting and showing out tonight. We've got I hope at least, I've worked pretty hard on it, a great show for y'all. I hope you really enjoy it. I am, of course, Beatrix Spunny. You found my channel, so I'm not going to bother promoting that. And I'm going to be playing the Marshal. That's what Deadlands calls the Dungeon Master. And basically all of the characters that aren't these 5 lovely, lovely people that you see off to my right. So I think I would like to start off by giving those folks a chance to introduce themselves. Let me go down the Discord order, starting with Ellie.
Hi, my name is Eliador, and I'll be playing Brigitta Jónsdóttir. Actually, that's incorrect. That's Jónsdóttir.
Yeah, it's incorrect. It's incorrect on the Roll20.
Then that's why I got confused.
Fortunately, in the promo material, it is correct.
I fixed it.
All right.
Yeah.
Mic is low. Okay, thank you for letting me know. I will boost that. Give us a quick mic check, Ellie, to see.
Hello, 1, 2, 3. How is the mic now?
Is that any better, chat?
Getting that scuff out of the way early on.
Mm-hmm. All right. And oh,
Okay.
character pronouns. That was another thing,
yes.
I think.
My character pronouns are she, her. And yeah, I'm excited to be here and play.
Okay. Next up, we have Epitome of Awkward.
Hello, hello. You may know me as B's partner, but tonight I am going to be Minghua Sutter. Pronouns any.
Okay. And then we have Geronimo Kiddo.
Hello, my name is Geronimo, and today I will be playing August Jerez. Oh, well, pronouns for August are he and they, and I am not B's partner. I felt like
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. This finally puts to rest the eternal
got
will
something
they, won't
awesome
they.
to say. I didn't get to add any.
I mean, y'all can also like plug your channels if you want, or anything else you work on. I ain't being stingy with that. So thank you, Lytro, for the biddies. Next down in line is Hemlock.
I'm Hemlock, B's favorite. I play Parrot Molina, and she uses she, they pronouns.
Okay. And last but far from least, Obsidia.
Hey everyone, I'm Obsidia, everybody's favorite Death Knight. You can go check me out on my Twitch channel, XObsidiax. I am going to be not B's partner either, but clearly not least here. My character is Xenobia Whatley. She, her pronouns.
It's like chat saying that all of y'all are a little low, so let me boost these mic gains a little more.
Better get Mr. Test out here, Mr. Michael Test.
The person before Obsidia, so that was Hemlock.
My mic
The
is
mic
always
is also
low.
just loud.
All right. Now, y'all probably will have noticed that some of the redeems are missing tonight, and we're also not doing reactives in terms of the TITS interface, because as much as I love being able to play around with y'all guys, I also don't want to completely ruin the tone, because this game has a very specific sort of feel. So if I don't directly acknowledge what goes on in chat, know that I do see it, I do appreciate it, and when I get a chance, a break in the action, I'll be able to actually say stuff. All right. With all of that said, I think it is time that we get started. Let me get my notes. Oh. Was not expecting this to be a problem. I apparently left my notes in the other room.
Scuff,
Opening
baby.
night
We got it.
scuff, baby. You gotta love it, because if you don't, I will cry.
Can we have a yeehaw in chat, please?
You want me to call your phone? Check the bathroom.
Also, we should all
Epitome, we can hear you.
appreciate
I know.
Cow B.
Okay,
It's
good.
like a cowboy, but a cow bee. Is this anything?
How be
B was
about-
looking for her
Okay.
phone, and we found it.
Hell yeah.
I want to
It
see
may
a
have been
little
in the
bee in
bathroom.
a cowboy hat.
I do not care to admit how many times I've left my phone in the bathroom while searching the whole house for it.
It's
Yeah.
like, you know how they used to have like magazines in the bathroom? You got to keep your phone in the bathroom. It's how you check on the weather while you're going poop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It all works.
All right, so the year is 1876. But the history ain't quite our own. It was an era of peace and reconstruction after the war between states. But fear and darkness, they run dang deep in the land. And nightmares? Well, let's just say they ain't got the common decency to stay in your head. When I was little, my daddy told tale of all manner of stories about knights and saints, magical folk and heroes. We're in dang short supply of heroes anymore. But folks brave, desperate, or foolhardy enough to try and carry a torch into the darkness anyway? Well, that's another story. This story, to be exact. Clouds part over a cold March sky in Midwest America. Red-tailed hawk glides lazily through the air, trailing far, far below, built atop land covered in snow just beginning the early spring thaw. There pumps through veins of iron and wood, the lifeblood of the country. The trains carry folks with all sorts of stories. One iron serpent like this can carry hundreds of souls, each with their own fates and dreams, wants and wills. Countless, countless tales, of which we can shamefully only focus on a few. Let's take a little closer look, shall we? Open scene. We're aboard a train. It is heading from the east, going west towards a grand city, Chicago. It's on this train that two stories are about to intertwine. In a cabin, in first class, there sits a woman, currently all by her lonesome. Obsidia, would you please describe the passenger?
Yes. Xenobia is a tall, thin, deathly pale woman with dark, some would say nearly green-black hair, which curls itself much like a scorpion's tail all about her head, which is in perfect symmetry with the choker she has around her neck. The one thing that always stands out amongst her is a bit of a glint of, some would say madness, some would say genius, in her sparkling green eyes, and her deathly black but entirely encompassing gown that she wears over her form, exposing as little flesh as she can, her gloves wrapped in long black lace as she absently reads through a thick tome and fiddles with the pages in her fingers, mumbling to herself in her own particular inner monologue out loud.
Odds are the audience, existential peeping toms as we are, won't quite know what's going on in Xenobia's head. Very, very few people do. But we can occasionally hear a slight whisper of a spoken thought. A mix of, sounds like at least 2, 3, maybe even more languages. The woman's well-read, well-spoken when she cares to be, and by her own merit, very well-informed of things. Up until a little while, a few days ago, she was living on the East Coast at the behest of an organization that, for now, will choose to remain unknown. But she received a missive from them, a telegram, asking her to look into something. In the burgeoning Midwest, apologies, not Middle East, in the burgeoning Midwestern city of Chicago, there is already a very well-supplied historical department in the library branch. Very interesting texts and resources could no doubt be found within, and the correspondence with Miss Xenobia seemed to be very interested in seeing what she can find out about the goings and doings of Chicago. The missive itself is very short. To XMW. Our sources have said that there is unusual activity going on in the city of Chicago. Stop. Due to our stretched resources of agents, we request that you look into it. Stop. If you can secure any knowledge or resources of other manner and ilk, do so at your earliest convenience and with most subtlety and discretion as possible. Stop. Respond by telegram to the usual offices when you arrive. Stop. From COH. Oh, sorry, I misread that. COT. As you're regarding your texts, both in book and in telegram, there are feet going down the hall of first class. And it seems that this car was not as privately booked as first assumed. There's a knock at the door which slides open as the conductor directs the second passenger in. Ellie, would you describe the passenger?
Sure. Brigitta is tall. She has blonde hair, blue eyes. She's pale, clearly Scandinavian descent. And she has winter clothes on and sits down looking kind of grumpy and also a little bit sad. And she just avoids eye contact as much as possible and is looking straight out the window.
Funnily enough, without being aware of the fact, it is also a unusual telegram that is sending you towards Chicago. There is there's a record of such missives going back and forth that I'm sure she was very driven to collect. And unfortunately, they are some of the few leads that she has in a certain personal issue that she's going to confront. You're not yet sure who, but according to sources you believe trustworthy, Chicago was one of the last stops your father made on his business trip before he returned to Washington. It was some point between that final stop and arriving back home that someone disposed of him. You're not sure how or why, but you feel as if you can find something out if you can just retrace his steps. You have, at the moment, just a single name to go by. Ibe Hansen.
How do you spell that?
Ebebehansen.
Thank you.
You know that this Mr. Hansen delivered a message to your father from accounts of people he was staying with, and you know that it seemed to be a very distressing message. You don't know if he sent any response to it. You don't know the contents of the message or to whom it came from. But at the very least, it's a lead. It's something that you can still hold in your hands. Oh, I'm curious about something. Can I get a cognition check from both of you?
Absolutely. Just
It-
straight cognition.
Mm-hmm.
14.
Oh,
14.
Wow.
Game's easy.
an even match. All right.
It's truly fate.
Uh, so as you, although you two are largely absorbed within within your own little worlds, whether it be reading or reflecting, you you do take notice of your co-passenger here. Something about them, I don't want to say something feels off, because that implies something inherently bad. No, it's more like in that moment, you can feel that unlike any common person you may meet on the street that would give you a passing glance, or even one that you, like this, would be sitting down for a long time in proximity to, you feel that this person has a uncommonly familiar sense of awareness. For Brigitta, you notice something in her piercingly vibrant green eyes, a sort of calculating intelligence that belies someone who knows far more than they could possibly be letting on, and who may, perhaps in that way, serve you quite well. After all, you have, at the moment, still plenty of inheritance left to bankroll your little investigation, but not as much as you might like in terms of the actual skills to find out just who you're trying to find. you see in Xenobia someone who is keenly curious and has developed the razor-sharp toolkit to indulge in such curiosities. Someone useful. For Xenobia, you see in Brigitta someone who at first glance seems almost unassumingly normal. She is, although fairly well dressed in terms of the look of her clothes, she has the sense about her of a very straightforward, down-to-earth individual. Moreover, though, you see a unusual sort of inner strength. It's one of those things where, by the study of modern philosophies of science and nature and the human mind, you're not quite at the point whether or not you can say for sure it is something natural or of the paranatural, but there is sort of raw power in her eyes that gives you a moment of pause. This is a woman who would be useful to your endeavors. You may be quite capable on your own, but a woman of your station, of your social class, would very well know the worth of having someone around who's a little less limited by the restraints of high society expectations, of the social velvet chokers of a dilettante's lifestyle. Having someone without such a leash, much less someone who seems to have a potency that even she may not be fully aware of, at your availability would be immensely useful for your day-to-day operations. The train ride continues. You continue to pass the half-frozen plains of the Midwest as you head towards Chicago. Is there anything either of you would like to do or say?
Yes. Brigitta is going to stare at Xenobia for like maybe around 10 minutes or so. And then she's just going to say, "Do you like mysteries?"
Xenobia will perk up at this and push up her glasses a little higher up on her nose, and she will give Brigitta a slightly overly wide smile, exposing her glimmering white teeth and slightly elongated canines, and her eyes have that almost cat-like in the dark reflection glow to them. Oh, straight and to the point. I feel like that is our first mystery to uncover.
No smile at all from Brigitta. I have a mystery that I could have use some help with. Maybe.
Oh, well, excuse me for being maybe a little too roundabout, but perhaps it would be better for me to at least know who I'm talking to before I accept gainful employment.
Oh. Right. My name is Brigitta Jónsdóttir.
Do I detect the distinct accent of the old world about your tongue?
I'm from Sweden, yes.
Oh, how deliciously Nordic! Well, welcome to our fair little country. My name is Xenobia Whatley, and she will extend out her hand.
She kind of hesitantly and slowly extends her hand. Not really sure what to make of this jubilant person in front of her.
Xenobia will grab her hand and very frantically shake it in a death grip. Pleasure to meet you, Brigitta. May I call you Brigitta? Would you prefer Miss Dotier?
Brigitta is fine.
Excellent, excellent. You, of course, can call me Xenobia, but that's, we are becoming the fastest of friends, bosom buddies, I would say.
What does that mean?
Oh, I guess that such idioms must escape your current grasp of our vernacular. It means that I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Oh, all right. I thought something else for a moment. Never mind. And you see her face be a little bit red. I am just going to look out the window now, and we'll talk maybe more after.
Oh, well, I guess you truly are an enigma wrapped in a mystery. I will enjoy just taking you apart, figuring out how you tick. This is going to be a very pleasant train ride.
Okay.
And Zenobia's gonna keep shaking for a while, and then realize she's still, like squeezing Brigitta's hand, and then, kind of pull it off and turn it into a little wave before she kind of just puts her elbows on her knees as she looks very intently at Brigitta.
Brigitta is doing everything she can not to make eye contact again. Not exactly regretting having made eye contact in the first place, but more scared.
Well, as you are continuing on your journey, you're getting closer and closer to Chicago. One thing that you perhaps are still in need of confirming, for both of you, I imagine, is where precisely you're going to be lodging. I would like either, you're welcome to ask anyone who's passing by in this moment, or to give me a area knowledge for Chicago or the Midwest. If you don't have either of those, you can still roll with the penalty.
If we are, are we? So we're still on the train, or is this upon arriving in Chicago?
This is still on the plane, on the plane, goodness no, on the train, but
Okay.
it is getting very close now to actually departing at the station.
If that's the case, Zenobia will, I don't know, ring for an attendant or wait for an attendant to come by and then pounce on him, not literally on top of him, but appear very abruptly in his vicinity.
All right. You do so. There is someone coming by who is calling out at each car. Chicago! Chicago! Next station stop, Chicago. Please be prepared for departure. Chicago! Next station stop, Chicago.
Pardon, gentleman steward.
Oh, yes. How can I help you, ma'am?
Yes. So my associate and I, we're wondering if where we arrive upon this windiest and most malodorous of cities, if there's perhaps a boarding house, inn, or other such staying location for us to rest our weary heads.
All right, you can see the gears turning as he takes the $5 words and shortens them down to some pocket change words in his head. Oh, yes, yes. Well, I would certainly say that the chief location for convenience and for accommodations would certainly have to be McClellan's Outfitters. It's right next to the train depot itself. Very difficult to miss.
Excellent, excellent. If it's so highly regarded by one such as you, then clearly it is a place worth further scrutiny. As she kind of adjusts her glasses as she smiles at him, twiddling her eyebrows.
Yes, yes, I have had time to take call there myself, and I can highly vouch for the quality of services. Why, you can find just about anything there: hotel room, restaurant, bars, a club, or as well as almost any manner of general goods and sundries and tools that one might need.
I do so like a place that consolidates my efforts into a singular locale. You're truly a credit to your class, sir.
Yes, certainly. Thank you. I don't often think of my days in Milwaukee University, but I like to think I am a credit to that class. Oh, then, if there's nothing else I can help you with, I must be on my way.
Thank you, thank you. I would hate to stand in the way of your time and efforts. I know that time is money, and money is what keeps the world going.
Right then. Good day to you. And he carries on his way.
She will abruptly, turn on her heel to give once again that overly wide smile to Brigitta as she leans down towards her, almost snake-like.
Yes,
I have location!
I heard.
Oh, then I guess you've cut out the middleman then. You know exactly the kind of place that is worthy of our caliber, as she gestures between the two of them and to the trade as a whole.
It'll have to do, I suppose.
All right. So as the train pulls into the station, I would like to cut to another train. This one is coming from warmer climes up towards the frigid north, traveling paths twisting and turning like the rivers nearby. On this train, we are joining in a cart with 2 occupants inside already. The first of these, Geronimo, would you describe a passenger?
In the seat, slouched back. Is, is my mic on? Sorry.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mhm.
In his seat, slouched back, he's looking out the window. His dog occupying the seat beside. He's, ay, Dios mío, looks down as his beautiful black shoe is now slobbered on. He's got raven black hair pulled to one side, the other side exposing straps that lead to an eye patch that's covering his left eye. He's noticeably very uncomfortable, agitated, not at the dog. There's something more. But there he is, sitting on that train. not caring about much except his damn shoe.
What has, would it be father, brother?
Daddy.
I'll,
Did you say daddy? Padre.
Padre. What is Padre, Jerez? Is that correct?
Yes.
What has Padre Jerez been up to on this, long train north from, this time of year, far more comfortable climates?
Oh, you see, he's a man of many talents. The knees are not only used for praying, and he is a prostitute. And once he gets too comfortable with the town, you can't stay there anymore. Your name becomes known, your sins become quite public. But he's not a sinner, he's just like everybody else. Just one man trying to help lead others to heaven, whether through the Bible or through the bedroom. He's on for new conquests.
Mm. Sounds like a admirable and virtuous endeavor. Now, the other passenger in this car, Hemlock, would you like to describe this passenger?
Um, for about the last 15 minutes, Parrot has been pressing her ear against the wall of the car because the people in the car next to us are having a very interesting conversation.
Ooh.
And she's just been eavesdropping.
Interesting. Do you have in mind what in particular is being said? Or
It's just two ladies talking about a breakup.
give me a cognition roll. If you have anything that helps with hearing, you're welcome to use that.
Oh, I need to remember that.
Let me also apologize for any eating sounds I have.
Alright, let's see. You're able to hear bits and pieces. The train, unfortunately, is very loud. You get a lot of the bumping and roiling of the steam mechanics pumping furiously as they drive towards Chicago. But you do manage to still get bits and pieces. You hear sort of, let me do a little Foley work. I told him that you did what with her? Well, and he's got another thing coming. I can certainly tell you that much, Diane. And with the tomato aspic that I had made the night before. No. It goes on like that for some time. But you can eventually hear from the I don't know if any of that's audible, the clucking of tongues and the harumphing of voices that they seem to have come to a conclusion with that and have changed topics to less juicy material. You know what?
Parrot gives up.
All right.
Parrot gives up.
With not much else to occupy your attention for a moment, I can I can I get a uh, can I get a cognition roll from the two of you?
That went so well last time.
A.
Okay, how do I access the cognition roll on that?
So you want to open up your character sheet, and on the traits and aptitudes page, you should see a box that has cognition. You just click the little die that looks like a D20 right next to that very top row there.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
All right. So, starting with what August notices, without too much else to occupy your mind and trying not to think too greatly on the damage done to your fine shoes, your mind drifts to regarding the other passenger in the car here. They seem to be a rather unusual sort, something of strange bedfellows for you, perhaps. Judging by general complexion, you're able to ascertain that she's probably from roughly the same longitude. No, sorry, the latitude. There we go. She's roughly from around the same latitude as you are. But there's quite a bit that has been changed about her appearance. Her ears, which seem to be elvish, almost pointed tips. On closer look, you can see a slight fraying to the lines of the outside of her ear, as if they were purposefully shaped into such a acute point. You can see that she used to have very striking makeup and carefully sculpts and dyes hair and eyebrows to give a very strange appearance that striking, almost not quite inhuman perhaps, but ethereal, unusual. Moreover, though, with the 12, you also see some things that perhaps are not quite as readily portrayed in outward demeanor and character. One of the most notable ones being you can see peeking out from around the tight green choker that they wear, there is the telltale, twisted, gnarled, hardened flesh of a scar. Quite a big scar from the look of it. Perhaps a burn, perhaps a cut. You're a man of many things, but a surgeon is not one of them. Still, you can't help but get the sense that this is an individual that could perhaps use something of a guiding force in their life. Troubled, certainly, but not so much as beyond help. It would perhaps not be too forward of you to make the assumption even that, you might be just the man for the job. Strange bedfellows to best understand strange bedfellows and all. Now, on Parrot's end, you don't pay too much attention to the human passenger of the car here. You do, however, have your attention drawn immediately to the large, dirty blonde Irish wolfhound that sits happily slobbering on the man's shoe. She is a absolutely gorgeous dog. Large, strong, almost fairly wolf-like in her physique. You can't help but think back to your days working with your family, second family perhaps, but no less significant or special to you. Working with your family in the circus. This is absolutely the sort of dog that you would have seen being trained for tricks or helping out with the tumblers and the clowns acts. This is a immensely nostalgic dog, and you can't help but be drawn to her as a unexpected but very welcome source of homely comfort. As the train approaches the station, slowly but surely, is there anything that either of you would like to do?
Parrot kind of like smooths out her hair, which has been mussed by listening into other people's conversations, and like fixes her jacket and goes, I like your dog.
August is gonna smile and roll his eyes, as he sits there. And his all of a sudden, as the chewing, you just hear, and then all of a sudden you hear, and his foot pops off as it's revealed that his left leg is not there. And this big old slobberpuss of a dog is sitting there now, chewing on the left leg. Excuse me, my right leg, and he's chewing on the leg, and I'm just picking it up. And I give a nod over, and I go, thank you, child. And what is your name? They teach us that our bodies are a temple of the spirit. And you look like you've got quite one hell of a spirit, my girl.
Oh, I go by Parrot. Like the
Parrot.
bird.
That's a very beautiful name. My name is Father Jerez. And this girl, I'm going to grab back my leg. I'm going to just shake it off like I'm shaking a baton. And I'm going to pop it back in as I lift up my lower part of my robe. This girl is Abby.
I'm going to say that with a 3, Parrot has not noticed the prosthetic.
Oh, that is going to be an interesting reveal later.
And I want to see how long it goes. And Parrot does that thing that like annoying people do when they see your dog, and she puts her hands like right above her knees and like bends over and goes, "Well, hello, Bee. It's so very nice to meet you."
Woof!
Yes. And Bee's a sweet girl. Bee's big girl. Bee just sits up and Bee's wagging their tail. And I'm just looking and I'm like, Bee, come on. And I use the chair to start trying to prop myself up as the train goes slower. And I use the chair to push myself up and I start staggering as I walk. And I hold out my hand in means of a shake. And I ask, Parrot, where are you headed to this fine day?
Bee, are we all headed to Chicago yet?
Yes.
um Parrot actually takes his hand, and it, instead of shaking, kind of like offers a bit more
Sorry.
stability. And goes, going to Chicago.
Brings you to Chicago.
I don't really know.
I'm over here taking Parrot's hand and I'm smirking the biggest smirk possible. Abby, the dog, is just rolling their eyes as they've seen this one too many times before. And Abby is doing their job in being the best priest dog possible by just making sure they stay right next to my quote unquote company as we start exiting the train. And I ask Parrot, what is your beliefs, my child? If I may so boldly ask.
Never really thought about it too hard. I just kind of do what's fun.
You're not so different than myself, child. Not so different than myself. And I let it trail off.
Gonna roll for something myself here. Let's take a look. All right. Now, as you're going along here, Abby is leading the way and snuffling along, and she woof, woofs softly at something, picking it up in her mouth. It's a little scrap of flyer. It might have been in someone's pocket at one time, but it fell out and was being trampled on by other passengers. The paper you find, it is a advertisement. It is for McClellan's Outfitters. If you need it, we've got it. 200 rooms ready for tenants and hotel guests. Restaurants, bars, all the comforts and amenities of home on the go. You can see there is a little lithograph illustration that looks like this is a very large building, very close to a train station that is increasingly familiar as you approach into the end of the line. We still have one more player yet to be introduced.
That player is currently cleaning up cat puke, so give me one moment.
Understood, understood.
And I think I just stepped in it.
Uh,
Min
unfortunate.
is also conveniently cleaning up cat puke in game.
Hmm.
Dun, dun, dun.
Even
I hope
better.
not. Oh, actually, no, that's possible. I don't know yet.
Character growth story. Dun, dun, dun.
Okay. So if you want to set up the setting, go for it. I might just be a little bit late describing my character.
That's all right. So, the long and short of it is, unlike the very well furnished accommodations of the first class car or the more modest but just as comfortable seating in the economy class, this, instead of focusing on the passenger cars, our view focuses in on one of the livestock cars, the zero cost ticket cars, if you will. Specifically, there is two people. This is a train as it's coming around a bend, it has slowed down the momentum, carrying one of the sliding doors, lock still loose from another vagabond already climbing aboard earlier. And into that, as it slows for the turn, is tossed a suitcase. And then clambering in is a young man, lanky but fairly strongly built, unremarkable looking fellow. But as he climbs aboard and dusts himself off, oh my goodness, that was quite something. If I'm gonna get this much of a workout on the train, I might as well just walk. As he looks around and takes it in, he is surprised to see there's already a occupant to the livestock car. Another stowaway. Epitome, would you introduce your passenger?
So Min is probably laying low, trying not to be seen through the multitude of cows in the car, but clearly has failed. Uh, uh, as she sees the newcomer, she does stand up, uh, showing off just how short she actually is. The few patches of skin that aren't covered by either a duster or coveralls. The sun just got spooked by a bottle, sorry. Uh, shows sunburnt skin. She even has her face covered for the most part, except for her eyes, which do look like they've been burnt in some way, but still seems to be unharmed. Mostly just coloration strangeness. Her short hair looks very choppy, like it was cut in a haste, and she is not happy to see another person.
Oh, well, it's wonderful to meet you. Hi there. Uh, well,
She's staring at him, kind of glaring.
oh, sorry. Where's my manners? How do? My name is Victor Tim. Most of my friends call me Vic when I have friends. It is a delight to meet you. I I trust that you're also heading to Chicago.
Min takes off her hat. Clearly, this guy is just a vagabond, maybe an idiot. Uh, she's probably safe with him. Yes, Chicago. Min.
Man, oh, that is a wonderfully fun name. Would you look at that? Vic, Min. Wow, we both got little 3-letter names right there, I reckon.
Something I did forget to mention, she is also Asian. That's just kind of slipped my mind.
Okay, that's
When describing
understandable.
her. Yes. I'm not much for talking.
Oh, that's all right. My mama always told me that I could always talk for 3, 4, sometimes even 5 folks in a single conversation. So, if you don't mind my asking, where are you headed for? I'm looking for some part-time work here. I'm a bit of a rambling fella, if you will.
I guess you could say I'm rambling too, in so many words.
A feller after my own heart. Well, if you end up hanging about round town, I don't want to make no assumptions, but I heard tell from some of the other fellers I worked with on the rail lines that apparently there's a
You worked on the rail lines?
oh yeah, I've worked all sorts of jobs. I've worked as handyman, I worked as barn builders and raisers, I worked as railroad spike drivers. I I tell you, I have worked job it feels like now 10 states now. I reckon it might just be my calling to do some odd work here and there in every single state of the union if I can manage.
I worked on the rails for quite some time. And she pulls out a single railroad spike from her duster
Oh, no
and kind
fooling.
of twirls it.
Oh, got some fancy finger work there, fella.
It takes practice.
Oh, I'll bet.
But you were saying, sorry.
Oh, no, that's all right. I was just saying that I heard tell from some of the other fellas what work in the line with me that apparently out in Chicago ways there's a real big community of a lot of them Eastern folks. You know, ones what come over from the maze usually.
Uh-huh. The tone I'm trying to go for right now is you are actively talking about a group of people that you are not a part of, but I am.
Well,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I just reckon that if you're looking for comfortable rambling routes that could do pardon my little tongue, but a heck of a lot worse than Chicago.
There's better places, but there's definitely worse.
Hmm.
And she briefly touches a small locket that's hanging from her neck.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll something real quick. Oh, is that a missus?
Sorts.
Ah, I hear you. These days, whole lot of folks can't afford to tie the knot what official like.
She's waiting for me.
Uh, I hear you, but it can be hard saving up for the big day, but it from what I hear tell from some of the folks I work with before, it's real special once you actually get there. Never been in that situation myself, but you know, there's still time for old Vic. Well, we can find out.
She's definitely warming up to Vic at this point. Like she started off the conversation very physically guarded, but seems to be significantly more at ease the more he's talking.
Well, Vic is very happy to keep talking.
And she's going to approach and effectively no longer stay in the corner of the car.
All right. Now, a brief question. I know that Min has some particular belongings. Is Min wearing all of those belongings at the moment?
What are you referring to?
The device.
No.
Understood. Well,
No, that is way too noticeable.
Well, I don't know about what your plans are, but if you're looking for some work, there's a got a little insider tip that kind of straightens his back, puffs out his chest a little at this. Like, yeah, this is some real inside baseball kind of scoop he got. I got this insider tip that this winter been real bad out in Chicago, and there's this huge employer. It's got like a hotel, got a couple bars, got well, you're married or at least an engaged fella. I can't imagine you'll go to one of the other places they provide, but it's one of many fingers that, or one of many pots that this McClellan figure got his fingers in, you know? So I've been told that, well, with the increase in business, folks getting out of the cold and getting into the hotel, that he's been offering some real choice deals and some non-union type work. If you catch my drift, if you're looking to find something, give you a little pocket of sense to rub together.
I might see you there.
Yeah, that's where I'm heading. Ain't much of a walk neither. Granted, I probably shouldn't have. No, honestly, I really gotta kind of question it. It feels like it's gonna be what, maybe half an hour before we get to Chicago from where I jumped on. I kind of gotta wonder if it was even worth jumping on in the first place. I suppose I could have just walked at this point, hitched a ride on the road, but well, then obviously I wouldn't have met such effluent company. Now would I?
That's true. That's true.
Well, you seem like you're a right interesting feller, and whatever it is that you're up to, hope you're able to get back to your lady folk soon. And who knows, maybe we will see each other around. That's where I'm heading, at least. Well, wherever you find yourself headed, I hope to. I hope that you find yourself with some real favorable like travels. You can
I
feel.
think
Yes.
I think if you don't mind me taking some of the reins,
Hmm?
I think having them talking about the rails and working on the rails as they come into station. Like
Mm.
that's where she tries to shift the conversation. Like
So,
telling old stories and shit.
what was your station working
Oh,
on
I
the
didn't mean like
rails?
actually. I meant like like as we were fading in with everyone else.
Ah, okay. All right. Yeah, if I run into you again, let me tell you, I've got to tell you about the time out in Iowa that there was a whole bunch of folks and they were real fixated on some corn, and let me tell you,
Corn.
it weren't pretty. Yeah, I tell you, if some folks hadn't come along, I reckon I might have been strung up by my bootstraps and made into some kind of scarecrow. These folks were so obsessed with their corn. You can run into some
Juice!
real crazy folks around here. Hmm?
It's a big lump of knobs. Never seen such a beautiful thing. Corn.
Min doesn't fully know what to do with this information and just looks bewildered. Corn.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I have seen more than my fair share of tall tales. So if I don't know if you're a drinking man, but if you ever want to feel as about as loose and strung out and weirded out by goings on and tales being told, then let me tell you, I got more than a few that I can tell you.
Well, that'll be nice.
Oh, you can feel at this point that the car is starting to come to a halt, and eventually there is going to be people opening up this car to let the livestock inside out. You two are not supposed to be on here. How would you like to handle this?
I need to reopen my character sheet, apparently. And I am going to see about sneaking out of the car as best I can.
All right. I think that Vic is probably of a similar mind here. This will be a sneak and roll, and you've got the benefit of the fact that it is it's a very busy station here. Everyone is focused on more important things. The livestock cart is not going to be the first thing that they come to. So you've got a decent window. I'll say that gives you let's go with a +3.
I get a +3, then that's going to be a 12.
Okay, that is a very solid result. Let me roll for Vic. Okay. +3, that is going to be a 11 for Vic. So yeah, as the station comes into view and the train slows to a stop, you are easily able to break open the sliding door and hop out, sliding it back in as you nonchalantly walk off into the train yard. Now, after such a long trip, I'm sure that all of y'all are perhaps a little tired, a little drained, or simply in need of something or another. Would it be fair to say that people might go to a nearby place? What are y'all's first stops now that you are here? Let me hand the reins over.
Brigitta would immediately go get her horse and her luggage that is securely strapped to the horse.
Actually, I
Alright.
wonder if the horse was stored in the cow compartment.
Oh, it is a livestock compartment, so that's quite possible.
There's a chance to bump in.
Now, a question for Brigitta.
Yes.
How much research did she do about her destination before arriving?
As much as she could in the short amount of time that she had before she left.
Okay, I am going to say that that means that you would be aware of the fact that Chicago is one of the cities where there is a state citywide moratorium having uh on having firearms carried around out in the open. Uh, if someone is found in possession, they will be warned to keep it in a secure location instead and to not carry it with them. They also have the option to turn it into the sheriff's office. But you also would know that is only that is only for if you get caught.
Mm-hmm.
What is your plans with your luggage?
The rifles are definitely packed away in her luggage.
Mm-hmm.
She does not plan on turning those in. She will just keep them in the luggage.
Okay. Same question to same question to Xenobia. How much research did you do about Chicago beforehand?
I probably did a passing amount of research if I was being dispatched here by my organization. So I would, at least get what are the big locations, especially locations that are pertinent to what I'm doing. And I figure having knowledge of what tools I can utilize is also helpful. So the gun policy would probably fall under that.
All right. So now that you are at the station, you have arrived here. There's something of a grace period. There's not a sheriff office immediately, and presumably you have them on your person or in your belongings somewhere. Uh, which of the options would you like to take?
I'll turn them into the sheriff. Uh, can I do that like after I've sent my response telegram that I've arrived in Chicago?
Certainly.
Okay. So yeah, that would be my order of operations is to let them know I'm here and then go turn in the guns. And I'd let Brigitte know it's like, oh yes, I just have a few things I need to take care of, but I will meet you at the outfitters and we can talk in long and vivid detail.
Okay.
All right. You can add into your inventory, Zenobia. You have a voucher with a written number out on it. It is stamped by the sheriff's office. As long as you have this slip, whenever you are ready to leave, or whenever you're ready to say you're leaving, whether or not you actually leave, I suppose, is up to you. You can go back to the sheriff's office and you can retrieve your guns from their safe deposit. I assume you're reporting. I think you have 2 guns,
Yes, I have 2 pistols.
and you're reporting both.
Yep.
Okay.
But I keep my ritual dagger.
Oh yes, nothing wrong with a fancy little knife. All right. So for the second train to arrive, for Parrot or for August, would either of you, I'm not going to require a roll if you say that, yeah, I think I would have done this. Would either of you have checked to see about any of the laws about Chicago regarding anything you might be bringing in?
Parrot does just enough research to not get arrested.
Okay, that would definitely qualify here then.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? I abide by God's law. If I get in trouble, they're arresting a priest. Where the hell do you think you're going? I could tell you where you're going, my son. It's not up.
All right.
Why would, and after all, why would a man of God be hiding a gun? I mean, having a gun. I mean, do you know what happens?
All right. So I'll ask Parrot because it sounds fairly clear what August's plans for his belongings are. How would you like to handle your firearms? Would you like to surrender them for a safe deposit, or would you like to keep them on either in your luggage or on your person?
Parrot's rifle is very carefully disassembled and cleaned and wrapped in a bunch of different random clothing items in their luggage and will stay there.
Okay. Just making some notes here real quick. And is August planning on hiding it on his person or in his luggage?
His gun is also disassembled, in careful pieces, and it is also on the backpack that Abby wears. And Abby's a good girl. Who's gonna think Abby's doing anything wrong? A dog with a gun. Who's ever heard of that?
It's
So-
like Airbud. There's technically no laws on the book that says a dog can't shoot a gun.
Yet.
Yet. So Abby will be having the parts, so to say, in her backpack.
Okay. And Brigitta, you're just keeping it in luggage for now as well?
For now, yes.
Okay. All right. And I already know that, well, no, I would say that, the device Furman, and you can give me some input on this as well. But I feel like your device is not immediately readable as this is a dangerous weapon. Would that be fair to say?
That'd be fair to say. Not to mention, I don't think Min has the ability to do research before getting on the train.
That's fair. All right. So then, did anyone have stops that they wanted to make before the McClellan's Outfitters?
Not for me.
Okay.
I already said what mine was.
All right. So, you have arrived at McClellan's. As you check in and you're able to bring your belongings up, uh, for those of you who are grouped together, or Well, you know what? Actually, I think with the weather as it is, they're probably experiencing a pretty big backlog at the desk. It would probably be better to take care of any appetites that need be before heading in and heading up. So, I think you'd probably head over to one of the restaurants, perhaps. So, it's a nice, busy restaurant. It is one of the facilities built into the building. You can see that there is a in-house pianist going off in the corner, just absolutely living it up on the ivories. You can see that there are several sections sort of distanced off from each other. There is an area where there is very mild-ish looking gambling going on. They do have a in-house gentleman's club, we'll say, for more discerning clientele or gamblers. There's also a bar as well. How would y'all sit yourselves in here? It's fairly busy, as I'm sure you can probably hear in the background.
I would Zenobia would definitely get the attention of some type of server like person to show them a table as she very very enthusiastically flags them down and makes sure to always keep Brigitta like an arm's length away, you know, just kind of like absently like pulling her along just to corral her in her trail.
All right.
Brigitta is just letting herself be pulled.
Okay. And for any of the other three of you?
I'm currently in drag.
Hmm?
Remember the dress that I have in my
Oh, that's right, yeah.
yeah. When
So,
it comes to work, I dress up. So food,
so
pleasure, all the good things right now.
you're like scouting out potential clientele.
Yes.
I see,
Oh,
I
yes.
see. Okay. All right. So Parrot, you are briefly waiting outside a restroom with Abby, and you just see the Padre come out in you know what, it's first episode. What does the working girl dress look like?
Has a corset type bodice that goes up and pushes up my non-existent mounds of flesh. That I have
you got borrow titties.
bodice. I have conveniently stuffed a nice scarf in there, you know, just to help the imagination. My hair is down now instead of being parted to one side where it's obviously shaved. It's now covered over both, and I have a dark set of glasses to cover the lacking eye. And I have my boots on, and in it, I'm carrying a dainty little satchel as I just come out and look at Parrot and say, hoo-dee-hoo!
You did all that in a public bathroom?
My dear, he whispers, never question man's capability.
That's really fucking impressive.
He just picks himself back up from leaning into your ear and squishes his chest together a bit.
Incredible.
B's just kind of rolling the eyes. Abby's just like, oh.
Hey, I can roll with it.
Parrot is mesmerized in a, this is literally the most interesting person I've ever met Considering my background, that's a lot.
And August is gonna try to cover his voice up a bit, and he just looks over to Parrot and holds out. He limp wrists his arm for Parrot. And goes, "So, shall we go and have a dapper time at the tables?"
Sure.
So where would you like to station yourselves here? Would you like to be like closer to one of the dining tables, to the bar, to one of the gambling tables? Anywhere in particular?
Let Parrot decide.
Parrot would normally sidle up to the bar, but
It's okay, dear. Let's go to your vices. We're all going to hell anyways.
Parrot does like a little cheer, just like a little fist pump, like, yeah,
All right,
we're going to the bar.
I've got to ask a question. Since I don't know what particular brand of faith August adheres to, is that like a genuine belief? Is that like just a kind of
August is a man of the robes, because that is what Mother would want. And August has seen things, and he knows that there is a devil. However, August also knows life is short in a dark sense, and he wants to taste all of it.
All right. I just ask because, for full disclosure, there is something that I roll whenever there are potentially like sinful behaviors going on, to see if God has decided, okay, we've had fun here. That's a little far.
He won't
you gonna
drink,
make
but
us
he
go to hell?
doesn't. Almost like think of Mary Magdalene, where God would, Jesus would still hang out with the prostitutes and such. He considers himself doing the same. He's like, I will hang out. It's okay if you drink. You're gonna snort that chicken bone? Go ahead, my child. I support your chicken bone fetish. We're gonna go. But he knows not to judge. Because in the end, his dark belief is we all just die.
Much less poetic and much less interesting. Min's trying to blend in at the bar.
All right. So, as you're all just sort of relaxing here, does anyone want to order anything, by the way?
How much money do I have?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I would I'd order some wine and a meal. I'd like to see their menu.
All right, you call over, and there is a harried-looking waiter who says, yes, welcome, miss and miss, welcome, ma'ams, Mrs. Hello, welcome to McClellan's. Here is our specials today." He gestures to a little chalkboard on which part of it has been partitioned off to list some of the specials of the day. It looks like right now they have a special going on. Let's go with chicken and mushroom soup. There is some fresh cuts of spiraled ham that you can get in sort of order, and with the large stock of McClellan's behind it, you can probably get what you want.
I will definitely have the chicken mushroom soup, and if they have a Pinot Noir, I would like a glass of that.
Yes, of course, of course. And for you, miss?
I'll have the soup,
Mm-hmm.
water.
All right. All right. I will get your orders in just as quickly as I can. And waiter heads on off. Going on from there, is there anything anyone else would like to order? Or if not, things you'd like to eat or drink? Is there anything that people would like to be doing during this time? For instance, if you do want to scout for potential clientele, that is a thing that you can roll for here.
Actually, like to put it in order, please.
Yes, man. How can I help you?
Table scraps, please, for the dog. Water for me. What the tea cakes, please? Tea cakes. Cake. He's playing with his voice as he tries to order cake. And then he looks at Parrot for help. Cakes.
All these people are making a scene, meaning eyes are off of Min.
Everything's coming up, Min.
Min is happy. Also a coffee, 2 sugars black.
Okay.
Can I get a whiskey on the rocks? Maybe some bread.
All right. There
What
it's
is Min wearing for questionable chance?
Uh, weather appropriate gear for someone who's coming from the maze into the Windy City.
Is your
for
mouth covered?
It's not going to be covered when I'm drinking, but currently it is.
Okay.
also for anyone who is unfamiliar, there's going to be some, since this is an alternate history, 19th century, there's going to be some lingo referring to things that won't quite make sense. For now, all you need to know is that the maze refers to the California coastline. All right. The bartender nods and a few moments later slides your orders down the bar at you. Oh, that's convenient, actually. 3 of you are there. Fantastic. And the waiter, a very tired person already, is just doing their best. They shortly after that managed to get the soup and the drinks to the table as well. So, is there anything that people would like to roll?
I
At
want
this point.
to take a look around and see if I see any interesting or unusual faces.
Are we going to need a cognition roll to see August?
I would say you can use a well, if you're looking for just interesting people in general,
Yeah.
you can do either a straight cognition roll or a search roll.
I'll just
If you're
take
trying
this
to remain unnoticed, what is your ranking in sneak? I think this only really goes for Min.
2.
All right, so your difficulty will say a passive sneaking. You have to hit at least a 7 to notice, man. If you would like to try to clock August, you would first need to make the search or cognition check to note interesting people, and then let's say a scrutinize check.
So I got a 15 on my cognition.
All right.
And I can do a scrutinize as well. 4.
All right. You notice, other than your already very unusual company at the table, you notice at the bar there are 3 people. One of them is bundled up so well that you can't quite make out what the short-statured person is in terms of identity, but from little bits of sunburned flesh that you can see peeking out between layers, you assume that they're someone from either the maze or a similar such Asian or Asian American community. I'm not really sure about anything beyond that, other than I would say coming from the East Coast, that would be fairly unusual to see. Not as unusual if you are native to Chicago or close to it, since the city does have a fairly robust Chinatown. But certainly for a newcomer, worth noting. They seem a little furtive. You also notice that there are 2 women as well. One of them... Oh, both of them look like they are coming from somewhere more southernly. Again, you can't really have any idea of where specifically, but you have seen Hispanic people before. You know what they look like in vague terms. One of the women is dressed in loose greens, and even from the back, you immediately are drawn in attention towards the streaks of unnatural green and the notched point of the ears. The other woman is accompanied by a very large dog. She's wearing, honestly, a unusually nice-looking dress, I would say, considering the weather outside. You think maybe she works here or something like that, or she changed for some reason, but very well dressed for the environment and for the occasion. Also, similar to the body modifications of the first woman, it feels kind of like, oh, this is someone who would like attention. You also note the rising voices of a conversation between your table and the bar, where you see these several people. In fact, I would think that this is something pretty much anyone could notice. As you're sat down with your food and drink, you you hear a conversation at the table between them. Oh, hey now. You just said that you had an 8, right? I did, and what's it to you? Well, if you have an 8, I got 3 8s. Todd over there, he's got another 8. I seen his 8s and I seen my 8s, so where's your 8 coming from? You calling me a liar? Oh, look, Zeke, I ain't calling you for dinner. Oh, I've had enough of you, Todd. I am going to... If I weren't in town for Ma, I would tan your hide. I don't think you got the guts to. I don't think you got the guts to do it, Zeke. Trying to come at me with this. You're no big man. You always knew it. Ma always knew it. Don't you talk about Ma that way. You feel the bar next to you. August shake a little bit as a large man is pushed into it. All of you can pretty clearly see that this is a conversation that is perhaps moments from breaking out into a fight. What do y'all do?
I stand up and I move away as fast as possible.
Fair enough. Yeah, no roll required. They are not actively focused on you, so you're able to just excuse yourself and walk out of this encounter. What about the other four of you?
Min's going to stay where she is, but listen intently, making sure that she's not going to be a part of the danger. Like actively observing, but looking as though she's not.
All right. Before I describe what it is that you're observing, is there anything that Xenobia, Parrot, or August would like to do?
August is gonna stand up and put the scraps he ordered down on the floor for little
Mhm.
Abby, and also make sure that he positions himself between Abby and Parrot, and stay standing with his back leaning against the bar as he eats away at those tasty cakes.
Okay.
Parrot's gonna fully turn around and just watch them and take a sip of her whiskey.
How close is my table to this debacle in the making?
It is your table, the table where these gambling relatives are, well, gambling, then the bar. So you are like right next to it.
Zenobia will sigh and get up, push her chair back in, and go distance herself from this.
All right. Well, as this happens, I am going to say that a couple of things happen at once. Zenobia, as you and Brigitta are starting to move away from all of this, there is one of the men trying to pull another off of their argumenter, and they are shoved back, and they go toppling towards you. They land on the table with a crunch, and they send the soup. You know what? If you want to try to make a nimbleness check to avoid flying chicken mushroom soup, you're welcome to. Otherwise, it's coming right at you, and more importantly, right at your outfits.
I dodge soup.
Yeah.
Wait, all of us?
No,
Or-
it is specifically like the soup at the table, so their soup.
Fuck yeah.
Got a 6.
Yeah, catch it in your mouth.
Okay, Brigitta, you, with unnatural ease, you see this, and practically in slow motion, pivot your step, continuing to walk away from it as you dodge the soup. Xenobia, it gets fairly well on you. You manage to avoid too much of it getting on. I'll give you the option. You can either manage to get most of the soup to avoid hitting your face and your bosom, or you can get it to avoid hitting your dress. Which do you choose?
I'll avoid my fleshy bits.
All right, so you you put your arms up to block your face, but the scent of chicken and mushroom is pungently hanging around you as this horrible mess is splattered all over you. The man who was knocked down is sort of blindly grabbing and is about to reach for. Is about to reach for Brigitta's leg, just as something to start pulling himself back up. Meanwhile, on the other side of the blossoming fight, one of them takes a swing at the one closest to the counter, and they dodge the punch, instead going towards Parrot. What does the bar group do? Any of you can respond to this.
Oh, there's another soup going to Parrot now, correct?
Another punch, or a
Another
punch.
punch.
Like, they were punching at someone who was standing in front of the bar. That person dodged. This person is perhaps partaken of some alcohol, and they're following through with that punch. Parrot's next in trajectory.
All right. Min is going to quickly grab onto Parrot's shirt and pull her down to have her dodge, like forcing her to dodge.
All right. Let's see. Parrot, do you resist this?
No.
Okay. Min, roll your strength +4.
+4. There you are. That's an 11.
All right. You're handily able to pull this stranger down out of the direction of the punch. As it carries on, the aggressor is stumbling towards you. They are not actively trying to attack you, but they are much larger and look about ready to topple down to you. August, you see all this happening. What would you like to do?
Want to save Parrot's whiskey.
Okay.
You're such a good friend.
You're welcome, man. You're welcome.
Let's say this is let's say this is a deftness check.
Okay.
Oh, alright, so no, I think I know how this turns out. You're able to grab the glass, and you manage to save like a third of the whiskey inside of it. You're swinging it, trying to carry it with the momentum to avoid spilling it out. And as you're following the path of the momentum, you follow through, and as it starts to stabilize, the bottom of the whiskey glass connects solidly with the stumbling man's head. And you see a moment of dazedness, and he goes down.
Whoops.
Brigitta, there's currently a drunken man who is trying to use your leg to climb back up. What do you do?
Brigitta.
Eric,
I was muted, sorry. I'm trying to get out of here as fast as possible.
Okay. Let's see. Give me a nimbleness check.
And do. 8.
Okay. You shake him loose. In the process, as you manage to finally wrest your ankle from his grasp, as you pull your leg back, the heel of your boot connects solidly with the pate of his head, and you
Excellent.
have also knocked this man unconscious.
What parts of Xenobia was covered in soup?
The dress. So probably, I imagine, like the bodice down, the sleeves, some of the train.
Since I don't want Abby to get hurt, can Abby have been attracted to the now soup-drenched Zenobia and went that way to Zenobia?
Ooh.
Animals
Table
do
scraps are
hate
no
me.
good. Table
What a
scraps are no
well-trained
good.
Oh,
service
Abby
alright.
only wants soup.
All right, this
It's
is gonna
soup.
be gonna
Scraps versus
be
soup?
interesting then. So, Zenobia does have something where animals are not inherently friendly to her. So I am going to roll.
Oh no.
Oh god, this is gonna be funny.
I am going to
Zenobia.
roll a. Let's see. Let's go with a spirit check to see, because this is not a natural, perhaps, reason that animals would dislike her. So let's go with a spirit check to see how Abby handles this. All right. I'm going to say, since chicken is involved as well, that I'll give her a bonus for that. Zenobia, there is a either a smaller than normal wolf or a much larger than normal dog that has suddenly bounded from the bar to you. They come down on your lower half, knocking you back into your chair, and they
Cleaning up that chicken.
actually, yeah, they just start looking at the chicken.
Looking at the chicken. If there's one thing we've learned tonight, looking at the chicken.
How does Zenobia respond to this?
This is kind of a new experience to Zenobia, because animals have hated her entire life, and she's been bitten by many dogs. So the idea that this dog or this wolf is currently not being adversarial, Zenobia's gonna have one hand on her sheathed dagger, just in case this escalates. But she's just gonna kind of not make sudden movements. Good little wolf.
I think at this point the bartender has returned with some of the security, or the heftier employees at the very least, and start to round up the aggressors. They've kind of pulled them away. You were never good enough in Ma's eyes, and you know it, Zeke. Oh, to hell with you, Ton! You're a disgrace to the name Carruthers! And they're hauled away, and you see, as things sort of start to settle down a bit more, there is someone in a suit who comes by, sort of, well, less a suit, more a uniform, I would say. They have the bright brass shiny buttons and well-fitted uniform of a bellhop, and they whisper something to the bartender, and the bartender clears their throat. You lot over there, you five. It's broadly sweeping towards the lot of you. A word, if and you will.
Put my bandana back up over my face.
Does somebody own this particularly wild lupus that is assailing me?
I sigh, holding the little whiskey cup that has barely a third left, and just hand it back to Parrot as I look and I hear Xenobia, and I go, "Abby, aquí!" in a manly voice, just across the bar.
Abby responds. She immediately kind of, if you've ever owned a dog, you know the look. She sort of shrinks back into her shoulders and is like ears back. It's like, "Aw," and kind of patters her way back over to you. First of all, uh, I am so sorry that you had to be involved with that. Management is saying that your tabs for today, and if you were looking to rest for the night, your hotel rooms will be comped, but manager would like to speak with a lot of you if that's quite all right.
And I presume that cleaning services will be provided, as she gestures to her dress.
Oh, of course, ma'am. I'm certain that we can make use of our facilities. We have more than enough washer room.
All
Well,
right, I
Brigitta,
guess.
you had a mystery.
More mysteries, I
If-
suppose. Let's go.
If it'll give me, if Min will get a free room and board and possibly a full meal and not just coffee out of this, she'll go. But
yeah,
she's keeping her bandana up.
that's fair. That's certainly fair.
Me and Abby walk to Parrot, and I'm just like, "Lo siento" about the whiskey cup that I've handed off to poor Parrot.
You did your best. Thank you. Parrot will take the whiskey with her to see the manager.
All right. So, as you are, the five of you are brought out, the bellhop leading you back down the hall from the restaurant into the main lobby, and then continuing further on, there is a smoky glass window over which it simply says property manager Hank McClellan, and you can hear the voice of someone inside. They knock and say, "Sir, the individuals that you requested word with are all here." Yes, that's quite all right. You can let them in. That's plenty fine there, Travis. Yes, sir. And he opens the door and ushers you in, if you allow it.
Sure.
Yeah. With a bit of a glare, but I get ushered.
Travis is unnerved by the glare, but we'll continue on. So, inside, there is a very state-of-the-art sort of office. It is equipped with all manner of filing cabinets and folders and paperwork, but there are also a system of pipes and tubes that run from a central console on the wall where you can see a multitude of mouthpieces, each with their own little label, and these pipes run along the wall, spreading out almost like a web towards different corners of the buildings, and you can hear occasionally muffled reports coming from one or the other. There's a great big board of these tiny little battery-powered lights that will occasionally buzz on with a little electrical hum. and you can see the man behind the table, or the desk rather, the man behind the desk here, Henry McClellan. Let's see, he's a fairly tall and I would say stately kind of guy. He's not particularly fancy looking, but he does certainly dress well. He would probably be, I would say, maybe in his 60s at this point. And you notice that he's put a lot of effort into presentation, even if he doesn't try and come off as ostentatious. This is a man, he has relaxed his short-kept hair. He is wearing a fitted sort of almost like a kind of mustardy cream color. He does, to answer the chat's question, he does have a thin pencil mustache coming off, and he is idly fiddling with the cufflink as he turns to greet you. Yes, hello, come on in. Thank you very much. Please take a seat, he says. He offers, there are a multitude of chairs in here, an embarrassment, perhaps, even, of chairs. I apologize for the busyness here. I normally would keep office on a separate floor, but I find with the rush of business this time of year, I come down here to repurpose this something of a utility room. My name is Henry McClellan, and on behalf of my outfitters, I would like to apologize for the state of affairs in our restaurant there. I do promise you that it is certainly not representative of the normal quality of clientele we like to keep, and you will, of course, be compensated for the loss of food and drink, and if you were planning on staying the night, we can comp that as well. Thank you very much again for understanding that.
I suppose that is acceptable.
Min is mentally going, yes, a free room, but is outwardly trying to keep the excitement inward.
Mm. All right.
Of course, innkeeper, and I was informed that, of course, all cleaning services would be more than compensated by this establishment as well.
Yes, we do have a very robust maid service, which can include laundrying. We have some contractors that we work with within the local city when our own facilities are not amenable. So no matter what material this may be of, by the way, may I say, this is a splendid looking garment here. Is this chiffon? Is this satin? I'm afraid I'm not as familiar with the state of ladies' fashions these days.
It was a great deal more resplendent before it became fungicided.
We'll have that fixed up in just a moment. Oh, I shouldn't get ahead of myself. We'll have it fixed up by the evening at the very least. Oh, I do apologize, but I must say that it was remarkably efficient and cleanly done the way you handled that, at least from word of my employees. Word travels very quickly around here, you'll see. I was wondering if perhaps in exchange for room and board here, if you five would be amenable to uh, a bit of a odd job, so to speak. Nothing
Can you elaborate?
dangerous. Oh, yes,
Yes.
of course, of course. It's nothing dangerous as far as I'm aware, but, well, my company likes to maintain the highest standards of services, of facilities, of room, board, and all manner of goods and sundries that you could possibly need. And, well, I'm afraid that there have been some things that have been a little odd. I try not to engage too much with security within the hotel portion of my business, since people tend to very greatly value their privacy, and I don't wish to betray that. But I have heard reports that there may be a bad actor, if you will, that is engaging in some. Well, honestly, I'm not entirely sure. There may be some thievery going on. People have reported belongings missing, but there also is a great deal of other strange goings on, as seems to imply that there may perchance be a someone active within the hotel backstaging, as it were, the employees' quarters. I can't imagine why. My apologies. Allow me to take a step back for a moment and explain things a little easier. Now, it was perhaps, I would say, a couple of weeks ago, we first had this issue, and we do not have many complaints here at McClellan's Outfitters and Hotel, but I worry that something may have been let in when the city was raised a few months back, because a few weeks ago, I have started hearing reports of people hearing voices talking in between walls, clogs and strange substances in pipes and plumbing, uh, things gone missing and showing up whereabouts they shouldn't. And, well, at this point, the hotel detective is somewhat baffled and was looking to perhaps find someone who I could trust with getting to the bottom of this without too much to do. This would be, as you might imagine, rather poorly for reputations and our business. So, being that we are in the business of providing and living up to expectations of our reputation, if our reputation were to fail, then perhaps would not have as much resources as we require to maintain the supply. Does that make sense?
Sure. I have one condition.
Yes.
I need someone found. I'm searching for someone and I don't really know where to start. If you can find this person for me, that is my price.
All right. Well, as I said, the hotel detective is not not been able to make hide nor hair of the situation within the hotel. I, I, I see no reason why I couldn't have them apply their skills within the city proper.
I believe he is in Chicago, yes.
Oh,
I'm
yes.
I'm looking for a man called Ebe Hansen.
He pauses for a moment, thinking. Well, I can't say that the name strikes any bells for me, miss, but I can certainly have my man look into it.
Thank you. I will
Uh,
do this thing for you.
My thanks. You, of course, as contractors to the company, let's say, you will be granted the full access to the facilities. I'm trusting in your nature. As you have already seen, have something of a network of informants within my employees, so I know a fair bit about what goes on in front and behind the theater of operations, as it were, within my company and my business and facilities, but something still seems to be missing. I can keep an eye on everything going on around here, and I can certainly keep an eye on a group of you to make sure that any needs you have are filled, but there's something going on here. I I have my hunches, but I can't be sure yet without any real evidence or uh, proper suspects, as it were.
Zenobia is going to bolt out of her chair and kind of slink in towards his desk to lean over it to look him in the eyes. And well, if you wish to have at least my services, then I know that we're going to have to get a bit more intimately acquainted with your operations. I would like to have plenty of access to all of your little records, stories, personnel, etc., so I can do a deep dive into the perhaps nefarious lore of this place.
Oh, well, I can assure you, miss, that there's nothing nefarious about the history of this building. I built it up myself from the shipping industry I inherited. Knocked the SF out of the name after we reorganized, but since then, McClellan has been, well, I suppose I am not a proper judge of my own character and the character of my business, perhaps, but it has been one of the more transparent businesses, I would certainly like to believe. Still, if there's any records, of course, given the private nature of some of these, I may require that they are viewed either within the company of myself or one of my managerial department's leaders, but we could certainly arrange for access to those.
She will clack her fingernails against the desk, like one at a time, cycling from her pinkies to her thumbs. As she stares at him longer, it goes, "Oh, yes, I'm sure that you may be on the up and up, but there are lots of people dealing with such matters, and many people find reasons to hide skeletons in closets. So I assure you, you will have my discretion, but I will need the full story, especially in tandem with when all of this illicit and inexplicable happenings began to happenstance."
Well, certainly, I am more than happy to oblige. I I can say I I will admit I am not entirely sure how it could relate, but I do have something of a theory that I had looked into, and well, I did not have much luck in pursuing that in my own endeavors, but you, as a group, might have perhaps more of a chance with that. I imagine that traveling, even as a group, you would stand out less than the owner of the company would, perhaps. But if you ask me, I feel like it has something to do with the underground. We didn't really have too many reports of it, and maybe it's just coincidence, but
Underground?
oh, I'm terribly sorry. I forgot that. Well, pardon my assumption if this is incorrect, but I forgot that you were out of town, so to speak. Yes. You see, the city of Chicago, it has had a great deal of trouble with history of flooding, being so close to the Great Lakes and so many rivers, not to mention the necessity to have a reliable maritime shipping for the rivers. We've required some infrastructure to avoid the hazards of more extreme flooding situations year by year. So, a few years ago, a group of scientists out from the maze, I believe they were from, I think the organization was the Consortium? A group of scientists.
Collegium.
Collegium. Oh, my apologies. I didn't realize you were a man of letters.
Some letters.
Yes, the Collegium. They proposed using some of their radical civic engineering technology to hydraulically lift block by block sections of the city and to build an underground out from there. And by all accounts, to my amazement, I was a little skeptical in their gizmos and gadgetry, but by all accounts, it seems to have been quite a success. They
Considering you use a number yourself, and she motions to the battery operated fancy light switchboard bullshit that you just described a few minutes ago.
oh, I I have nothing against the new science that some of our luminaries have created in this modern day and age. In fact, I have a great deal of respect and appreciation for the fine, upstanding folks and engineers of the Smith and Roberts Corporation. We're one of their few fully licensed retailers as well. I fully stand by their products, of course. I was more skeptical about the sheer scale of things. Hydraulically lifting, say, a carriage or perhaps even a train car, that's one thing, but hydraulically lifting an entire city block, much less an entire city block by block, that strained credulity. But, well, our new underground seems to suggest otherwise. There's a very well-designed subway, underground sewer system that they have installed, and there's pedestrian footpaths as well for months like this. It's very convenient not have to go out in the elements if you just need to go building a building. But one of the more interesting things in my regard now, if you'll pardon my enthusiasm, you see, as a man of my business, where I got my foot in trains and logistics, the idea that some of these Collegium folks, they're starting a whole new train line just for the city of Chicago, entirely underground. The subterranean trainway, they call it. Absolutely fascinating idea. I digress, though. The reason I brought it up is maybe a simple correlation as opposed to causation, but I did notice that around the time that they started construction on the subterranean trainway, that it's got to be a easier way to say that. That they.
Subway, if you will.
I think you might have something there. Have you ever thought about a career in advertising?
I'm sure I've got too many words to sell.
Every time our dearest Xenobia talks, Abby is now on the floor, inching a little closer with her paws, sniffing her tail, going thump, 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 thump happily as the wafts of chicken are coming past her nose.
Soup, soup, soup.
I'm
What?
gonna roll real quickly for something. Let me see. I think she has.
I'm just
Yeah, she has an. Oh, she has. Oh wait, actually no, she has no die. All right, so let's roll this.
Abby's doing her best to just lay down next to where Parrot
So,
and I are, but the wafting and the movement from the dress is just
with the untrained penalty, Abby thinks that she is being very stealthy. Xenobia, you fully see this giant dog on her belly, just as if some sort of infant or some sort of military elite crawling inch by inch towards you, tail thumping the floor.
Xenobia will start inching away as she continues to talk, working around the desk.
But yes, it is my theory that from the sounds of it, it seems like human activity. It's my theory that some perhaps robbers or desperate vagrants have found a way to use the shifting under city of Chicago to find new homes. I believe we might have something of a unexpected tenant of the hotel, perhaps.
Vagrancy does strike at the most dastardly of times. I'm sure, of course, that you monitor any access ways to the hotel from these subways, if you will.
Oh, of course, of course. That's why I didn't think too much more of it. I've had the folks from the Collegium and spoke with them, and they said that no, they have double and triple checked the area around the foundation of McClellan's Outfitters, and there's been no sign of anything that could possibly be sort of a man-made passageway, unapproved tunneling, so to speak, you know?
Indeed, but you will understand my hesitancy at the words of these erstwhile engineers. And at this point, she's like worked her way to the other side of the desk and is like literally staring down at him in his chair.
Meanwhile, Abby is one paw inch in front of the other, happily wagging that tail that is obnoxiously giving her position away each time. There is no stopping. And August is gonna say, "Boss man, listen." And he's officially given up. He's adjusting his balls in his dress. He's not feeling pretty. He's tired. He's been hearing all this talk about railroads, underground, hippity dippity. He just looks at the guy.
Partially covered in whiskey.
Exactly. He just puts his hands on the desk at this point, looks over at Xenobia and goes, "Señorita Pollo, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Good lady.
But listen,
Yeah.
boss man, I really don't get some of this stuff. But I'm going to tell you this. You've got an odd job. Guess what? I'm a man in a dress for my free time. I've got an odd job.
All right? You pay me for what I came here to do a little bit each night on top of my room and board, sir, and I'll be glad to help you. But for the love of God, my balls are itching. Can I please go get a shower?
Oh, incredibly vivid! Truly a masterpiece at painting a picture with your words.
Thank you, Miss Pollito. Now listen, my dog's about to eat you. Can we please get a shower and come back to this in the morning?
Oh.
Ay, Dios mío.
Of course. It is rather late. I would be more than happy to oblige. You can speak with Travis at the desk, and we'll set you up with some rooms. I think we have a. I beg your pardon. I don't know the travel arrangements that you have made. Were you planning to stay multiple to a room, or were you looking more at the singles? So who you want to bunk with, if anyone?
Well, here's the thing. Min isn't going to admit that she was planning on sleeping on the streets.
I would like one to myself, preferably with no hounds involved.
I
Wolf.
would also like one for myself.
Okay.
I guess I should ask if you are okay. This is directed to Parrot, considering I'm the one that kind of yanked you down.
Oh, I'm fine. Thank you, by the way. I prefer a yank to a punch.
Okay. Good.
Abby, that's a woman, not dinner. Get back here.
Get control
This laughing
of your
is Vinny. This laughing is epitome. This laughing is not Min.
Looks over at Brigitta. Get control of your woman.
My what?
Meanwhile, poor August is still trying to adjust his nethers in the damn dress. Get the dog under control at the same time.
Señorita, well, how about you stop playing with yourself as we're trying to discuss important financial fiscal matters?
Have you ever had a sack of magic between your thighs, ma'am?
Parrot
Let her
turns to
be.
the
That is a
owner
euphemism and a half.
Yep.
and just goes, "We don't really know each other very well. If you have the room for the singles, let's just set that up and get out."
I'm sure there's a stable or something you can put that one.
Hey, capron! Starts swearing off in Spanish,
Oh, no.
throwing his hands up.
Thankfully, Xenobia has the gift of gab, so the more you swear at her, the faster she picks up Spanish.
In the meantime, Min's going to swear in Mandarin Chinese under her breath and get
It's
between
over
the
at
two
the
of
boss man. You mentioned odd jobs, sir.
Yes,
I've got a
certainly.
job. It involves your assets. Can we talk about something in private?
Jesus Christ.
I certainly see why not. So out of character, it sounds like we have. Is everyone
Sure.
getting separate rooms, or?
I'm okay bunking if someone else is, if there's not enough rooms available. But I
I'm
think I'm
okay
the only one
bunking,
okay
too.
with it.
I'm okay
Yeah.
bunking.
I don't see why we would bunk together unless it was like necessary, because
Yeah.
we did meet like 20 minutes ago.
No, exactly. Like, Min will take a spare room to herself, but again, she was also expecting to sleep on the street. So, like, any bed is a good bed.
Yes, it sounds like we should discuss the details of this matter, perhaps when we've had a bit of time to recollect ourselves and clean whatever that is.
I know you're pointing at yourself, madame.
Oh, so you're not only inept, but blind.
Oh, all right.
Apsat pulls off
All
her
right,
glasses
all
and
right.
stares at her.
Ladies,
What about it?
please. Yes, we
I
can.
will take that room, yes.
We can discuss this.
Can
All
we
right.
have a check for Abby getting chicken off of Zenobia's chest?
You know what? Sure. Let's
Did,
see.
did Abby make the war effort to get the chicken off?
Let's see. I think she's probably able to get a little bit of it, yes.
Yes. Go
Ah.
Abby.
Xenobia, I think it's almost more frightening for you that this is, for some reason, you don't know what it is about this creature. You're not even sure if you should necessarily assume it's a dog with your line of work, but there's something about this creature
Your
where,
cousin.
first of all, rude. Second of all, I don't know. But there is something about this strange creature that she does not seem to be immediately hostile, which is weird.
This is incredibly uncomfortable for everyone involved.
All right.
I'm uncomfortable.
So, Brigitta, you are single room?
Yes.
Okay. Xenobia, you are single room.
Yes.
let's see.
Emphatically so.
For Min, Parrot, and August, are you doing any combination of a shared room, or are you doing all singles?
Okay with single.
Okay.
Is there enough rooms for a single? Because that's 5 rooms.
I think, was it mentioned there was over 200 available rooms or something? Or
Were they available or 200 rooms, period?
think it's
200 rooms, period. You know what? Let me roll. Let's see. You know, I think that there might not be enough for everyone to have a single.
I'm okay rooming with either Parrot or the Padre, which Min is confused and not aware that he is a Padre. I'm good rooming with either.
A question also. We may also, just as a heads up, we may go a couple minutes late just so I can have a little bit of time to give y'all some scenes after this for each of y'all.
Parrot finds August fascinating and would be fine sharing a room with him.
3 to a room? I don't need a bed.
Brigitta would grudgingly accept a room with Xenobia, probably.
Well, how many rooms are there? Because we have 2 rich people who would be used to having their own rooms, and then
Yes.
3 more working class people who...
technically I could use help with my harness and my leg.
Yeah.
Let's see. He's all cocked. Okay, it looks like, talking with Travis at the door, there are 3 rooms available. How would you like to do this?
Yeah, preferably Xenobia would like her own room,
Same with
especially
Brigitta.
after her night.
Okay.
1, 1, and 3?
We can be the adults.
That's fair. All right. Okay. Yeah, that will work then. So, it's getting fairly late. You're retiring for the night. Before I get to some more personal scenes for all of y'all, I would like to touch back on. It sounded like August, you had some business you wanted to discuss with Hank here.
That's a private seat, shifty eyes.
Oh, all right. Do you want? Now, I am entirely okay with this. I want to make it clear. I want this to be like a standard assumption. If you have things that you would like to keep private from the other players, I am fully on board with that. Is that something that you would like to do in a
No,
one-on-one
I think
chat?
I think it'll be very obvious that I have a different nightlife than I do a day life. So
Okay.
August wouldn't mind. It's just one of those things where that kind of business is usually just genuinely. I mean, I could proposition you right now, but it's usually genuinely would be done.
All right.
aside.
All right. So you're do you want to so is the conversation with Hank basically just you're getting
Propositioning you to hire me for services
are,
because I
are,
have to make side money
are,
while
are
I'm here.
you propositioning the owner of the company himself, or are you like saying, hey, I know that there are some gentlemen's clubs here. Can I get like a slot there?
Taking a shot at both.
Okay. Hmm. You know what?
Seeing if the boss man needs some services and if there would be additional. Because even though I don't mind doing the job and, working for the boss man, I too need to make other money that I came here for.
Okay. Let me quickly. Oh.
I sent up my love.
Oh no.
Hello.
Oh no.
Oh,
I didn't know that the shout out would still work there. Hello, hello. Come on in, Raiders.
How the fuck are you?
Oh. Well, Epitome, this is a very valuable lesson about the different types of shoutouts.
Shout didn't do anything on the stream. I don't see anything.
Oh, you didn't hear anything?
Well, the stream's currently muted for me. I'm listening in through the voice call.
Ah, okay. The exclamation point one plays a clip which includes audio.
Okay, good to know.
All right. So, just in the future, we'll probably
not do
limit
that.
it to the slash shoutout command. All right, but thank y'all.
I wouldn't have known because, again, stream is muted.
All right, so let's see. I am randomly rolling. Okay. Okay. I have randomly rolled Hank a sexuality.
DM assigned sexuality.
How do you, since it sounds like, you know what, I'm just gonna throw this over to you. Tell us what this conversation sounds like. Which of these two things are you starting with, and how do you pop this question?
So, basically, August would just walk up. He's tired. He's a mess. Any glamour or glitz he was trying to go for with his feminine attire has just gone out the window by this point. He's leaned against the desk and now he's just gently shifting himself up so that he could take pressure off his bad leg. And he looks at him and goes, "Listen, I need business places so I can make some money. I need to know which places have some well-kept children of the night who are loaded, and which places to stay away from for safety." That's the first thing he'd ask.
All right. That's a pretty straightforward request, and I mean, Hank runs this company. He is obviously aware of the services he offers. Well, I can't say I have too much time to go about exploring the current offerings of soiled doves, I suppose, of the city, but I know that a fair number of the entertainers that I have on employ are a little more well informed, perhaps I can say. you're certainly welcome if you so like to ply your trade with the in-house entertainment department. You can find that it's the facility just a little beyond the bars on the first floor. But I'm certain you could also easily ask there and
At this
So-
point, August is gonna lean over and gently stroke Boss Man's mustache. That
Oh,
fine, sexy pencil mustache of gold. And he's just gonna say, if you don't have time to look into the city, maybe I could look into you. Just look up at him and bat that one eye. Beep, beep. He's just gonna try and make a pass now at the boss man.
all right.
is he married?
You know, that's
Oh God, is this a roll check
Does
for
it
marriage?
matter?
Brigitta.
Well, let's see. Since I am a fan of your characters and I do not want to catch you in a honey trap of like breaking the thou shall not commit adultery commandment, since I'm assuming from the nomenclature and the uniform that August is some kind of Christian, correct?
Yes, August. If he didn't see a ring, he didn't observe for a ring, so that would be an August.
I am going to say
Roll for marriage.
I'm going to say that, to borrow parlance from a modern era for a modern answer, entering into business, busy as he is, he became something of a volcel. This is not to say that he is uninterested, just that he simply does not really have time to pursue relationships particularly. So I'm going to say that no, he is not wed. And I am also going to say that okay, what aptitude do you want to use to try and make this roll?
Right. How do I? Where's the prostitute? Where's that on the? Where would I go under?
All right, so
Rules,
let's
quickness,
pop
smart,
open
spirit,
this.
strength.
It would be, I would say,
Vigor?
some type of mean roll, since that's like a lot of your social things, unless you're trying to like bluff him, but it
No.
feels, yeah. So I would say,
Roll me in.
okay, you're also not trying to neg him, I assume. So we can rule out ridicule as well. Yeah, I'm gonna say this could be, it would probably be persuasion, honestly.
Okay. So I hit the little dice next to persuasion, correct?
Yeah, I'm going to say before you roll, I'm going to say that, oh gosh, that there is a bonus because Hank does appreciate forwardness, but there's also the risk that if it fails hard, because he does not have time for like second chances with encounters, as it were. All right, so I am now going to roll I guess this would be some kind of resistance check. Let's see.
Hearing that from you, August would just caress your face and say, "You could be bad in bed. The money just has to be good."
Okay.
Days of our lives, the Deadlands.
Are we starting this off with a bang? Literally?
They did take away all our guns.
All right. I will say that he pauses for a moment. You see him kind of thinking things over silently, and he pulls away for a moment and walks to the door and closes it. He turns back to you, saying, "Well, now, normally, I don't particularly do much for checking on potential employees or entertainers simply out of a matter of trusting that to trusting that to those I delegate said work to. But since you seem to be in something of a rush," loosens tie,
Not a
Oh
rush, good
Lord.
sir. Let's
I
call this a rut.
suppose that I
Walks
could.
over and loosens the
I
tie for
suppose
you.
that I could field this audition myself.
Start off with a bang.
I think
Whoa!
we'll
How much gold
probably.
would I get? I'm dead.
Oh, okay. Are you charging him?
I assumed he wasn't just here for a good time.
Oh, I mean, it's up to you. I will say this.
I take.
I'm going to say that this is first off, definitely a fade to black.
Yes.
So I'm going to say that this is going to be a case of if you want to charge him for it, obviously you will get money. However, that also will mean that you will shut out the possibility of a Hank McClellan romance route. So I will leave that up to you.
Hmm.
So if you
Now-
charge him, you just beg him and get paid. If you don't charge him, you've unlocked romance
Right?
options.
This is like.
The 60-year-old man.
Hold on.
Oh,
Let
I
me
mean-
ask my wife real quick.
To be
Hey,
fair,
honey!
he is.
Should I bang a man with a pencil mustache and romance him later? Or just bang him and take the money for the doggy?
Is it better or worse to charge your boss for sex?
Oh, can I say something? And I feel like this might influence things.
Okay, I'm listening.
Oh, it sounds like you got an option too.
What was the.
All right, so let's see. I am going to say that
I could always just do first night free. You know, like a sample platter.
I'm
Like a
going to
drug
say
dealer?
that
Yes!
the face claim I have in mind
The
is
handies for free.
I need a face. I was gonna say, give me a face. What does Hemlock look like? Are we
Oh,
talking Chris Hemsworth?
Wait,
like in
wait.
Thor
Did you
with
say
the-
what did
wait.
Hemlock look
You
like?
mean-
whoa,
You meant
What's his
Henry,
name?
not Hemlock.
Yeah, this is
Sorry.
Hank McClellan.
I got Parrot. I'm like, I was like talking to Parrot. I'm like, Hemlock. Sorry.
All right. So this is like are you familiar with the actor Leslie Odom Jr.?
Google is familiar. Hold on one second.
If you took Leslie
Leslie
Odom Jr.,
Oh.
aged him up visually like around 15 years, you're basically where we're at for Hank.
Wait, Leslie Odom Jr.?
Yep, spelled like, for those of you who want to play along at home. Oh, sorry. It should be Not-
Odoc. Okay,
not
I put
Odoc.
Odom. I was
No,
like,
no,
you
no.
said he got a blonde
Odom.
mustache?
Odom is correct. Odoc was misspelled. That
Wait.
I'm pretty sure that would be some kind of Marvel
Wasn't-
villain.
Yo, he's kind of hot, just saying.
What are you playing? Oh, Murder on the Orient Express.
He was also
he played in
the
Hamilton.
yeah, he was the original Aaron Burr.
I'll let the first one be a freebie for tonight.
All right.
But I expect some good food.
All right.
Oh, he's about to feed you.
Yeah, reminder for everybody to watch Glass Onion if you have access to Netflix.
Oh yeah, it's a very good one. We can get Netflix working on the PC again. I might stream it. I mean, definitely not share it.
You wouldn't share a password.
You wouldn't
Never.
download a pizza.
Oh. All right.
You wouldn't have sex with your boss for money.
Never.
So yeah, the office opens up. You know, let me roll for this. The office opens up. Ooh. An hour and a half later.
Stamina.
Yeah, I rolled for it, and it comes up when it comes up. An hour and a half later, you walk out of the office again, and Mr. McClellan passes you a little note. If you give this to the madam, I'm sure that she can make things very comfortable for you while you are having your stay here. August.
Gracias, sir. And
Please.
may God remember
call
your
me Hank.
kindness. Hank.
Mhm.
All right.
Takes that note.
So you're able to get set up no problem in the hotel.
Now, would that
yes.
also go towards helping since Min and Parrot and I are all in a room? That would go towards helping our room too, right? Like a little bit of a nicer.
He literally took one for the team.
I did.
Yeah, you know,
Maybe some
like-
comfier blankets, maybe some fresher pillows, you know, since
I
it's two
don't think
beds,
that they'll have
something
time.
nice for Min.
I don't think that they'll have time tonight to get too much
no.
more in, but yeah, they can definitely pull some strings, make sure that this is, if not a room with an extra mattress, at the very least a room with a laying couch, a fainting couch, if you will.
Min
call
only
it-
has to sleep on the floor once.
I will sleep on the floor.
So, I think we've probably had about enough excitement that y'all are getting ready to wind down. I do have a little extra something for all of y'all, though, before you do.
Hold on, I do want to do a small thing with Min and Parrot.
Okay.
What
go for
in
it.
the hour and a half we have?
Hey, you've got the time.
All right. So as they get to the room, the door closes, and Min whips around and takes off her bandana and accusatorily goes, "You aren't with the law, right?"
Do I look like
I can't
Barrett's,
trust like
doubled
that.
over? Like, should I be insulted? You think I look like a fucking cop?
I'd rather be safe than sorry, okay?
No, I'm not.
Like, I
She
can tell
wipes
the
a tear
Padre's fine,
away.
but you, I wanted to make sure. Okay. Good.
Yeah, I brought a gun in here.
They don't allow guns?
No, they don't. Oh God. Yeah, keep that hidden. If you got a gun, don't show anybody.
No, I don't, but okay. Good.
Okay.
And
then.
she takes one of the blankets off of the bed. She knows not to worry about the Padre because cross-dressing laws are weird in this time period, and yeah, probably not the law there, but still would rather be safe than sorry. The other two, they aren't sharing the room. So she takes one of the blankets and just curls up in the corner. It's been a day.
I will say there are bathrooms too. Like there's sinks and showers and tubs if y'all are looking to do any of that.
Maybe, but for now.
All right.
That's
Okay.
it.
Well, since we had that, was there anything before I wind down and start to give everyone some first episode gifts? Is there anything that Brigitta and Xenobia were doing during that hour and a half before bed?
Yeah. Brigitta would, when she gets to her room, unpack all of her bags, take out her disassembled rifles, practice assembling and disassembling them a bunch of times, and then put her Winchester 76 disassembled in a backpack.
All right.
Xenobia is going to change out of her fancy clothes and give them to be cleaned and laundered and everything. And then changing into her more like casual clothes. And she will go over to knock on Brigitta's door.
Brigitta will open the door.
Well, I'm sorry to intrude upon you on this nocturnal venture, but I think it is time that we perhaps have a bit more further in-depth discussion about potential opportunities.
Fine, I'll come in. And you can
I
see.
do have a quick question. Is her casual clothes still all black?
Yeah, they're still all black.
Okay,
they're
that's important
very
for me
full
for
body
next week.
covering. They're very
For the
full
next
body
session.
covering.
That is important for me for the next session.
Okay.
You see but basically 2.5 disassembled guns on the floor, or rifles.
Oh, so you're a bit of an arquebusier.
What?
No, a musketeer.
I shoot rifles?
Well, yes, if you want to put it a bit more bluntly, I guess. It doesn't have quite the same flair as mine, but it does get the point across, I guess. Occam's razor, the quickest way between 2 points is a straight line.
What did you want?
Well, I assumed from our little, intimate conversation with our erstwhile side employer that you need somebody discovered, and that's what brings you to the stinky city of many winds.
Yes. I need to find an Ebe Hansen.
Is there perhaps a bit of a backstory, perhaps a tome, a grimoire of connections between you and this erstwhile handsman?
He is connected to my father, and that is all I really know.
Oh, I see, and I assume your father didn't go into in-depth explanations about it.
It's hard to explain something when you're dead.
Oh, that does normally get in the way of such things. They say
Trying
dead men
to-
tell no tales. But of course, they're not asking the right questions.
Right. Trying to find who did it. And why.
The old Count de Monte Cristo, a little bit of a revenge murder scheme.
She looks very uncomfortable at that.
But I'm sorry if I'm getting a bit ahead of myself in the narrative. But I assume that you would like a little assistance. Well, that happens to be just along the line of questions that I happen to be walking us towards. As she will sit down next to Brigitta and, pat her lap, looking up expectantly as like, it's time to talk.
What?
Okay.
You look like a woman of singular determination.
That is correct.
Excellent, because I'm determined to put that to singular use. I think that we can be a bit of a beneficial relationship for each other, quid pro quo.
What do you need?
I happen to be looking into some particular matters that requires a bit more potential resource access that might expedite things as we pursue it. And you definitely seem to have, and she gestures to all the firearms, seem to have ample resources, although these aren't necessarily what I was inquiring about, but I assume that in a punch they can be delivering a bit of a punch of their own, if you catch my drift. As she elbows Brigitta in the ribs conspiratorially, but like unnaturally hard because she doesn't feel it.
I can shoot someone pretty well, yes.
Excellent, excellent. I also assume that perhaps there is significant financial backing behind those firearms.
There is a limit, but for now, yes.
Perfection. I assume that if you can be able to scratch my back, then I, of course, can lend my incredibly skilled handiwork to yours.
Well, I think we have ourselves a deal.
Excellent. We'll be thick as thieves. And she gives that same overly large smile and her like reflectively glowing eyes as she extends out a hand.
She shakes it, this time with a lot more determination than the first time they met.
Xenobia doesn't notice, but she squeezes you just as hard. Excellent. And I assure you, as we have now found ourselves crossing paths with those people, then perhaps this arrangement could be mutually beneficial.
I will have to see what they're good at. I'm not quite sure. Well, we'll see.
Well, I have a few ideas about that Spaniard, about what he's good at, but I don't think that's for polite company.
Oh my gosh.
You keep him and his little hellhound in check, and I'm sure that we can each go hand in hand into a glorious prospectus.
I'm not very good with animals either, unfortunately.
Well, then I'm sure that you'd be fine making sure that it stays plenty far away from you and I.
I could shoot it.
No.
No, I don't think we're quite in the position of old yellering the creature, but I think that it should be put on the table, although we're going to push it a bit to the side for a moment.
Okay.
All right.
But enough conspiratorizing. I think that you are due for a good night's sleep. Plenty of revenge killings to do in the morning, of course. She stands up and she will twirl towards the door.
Have a good night.
I am uncomfortable for Brigitta.
And a
Okay.
good night. Make sure that no creatures in the night bite.
She sticks a chair under the doorknob in case the lock fails.
All right. So as you all wind down, having time finally to rest after a long, tiring train ride to Chicago, I would like everyone to you know what? Actually, I can roll with it. Can I get a quick cognition check from everyone?
Man, you know I'm great at that one.
6.
11.
Okay.
Holy crap, 17.
All right. So, first of all,
It
it's
stunk. I got a 1.
oh, it's all right.
You are fast asleep.
So
Well,
first
yeah, after
off,
my night.
yeah, he earned it. So first off, as you are resting, you all have a fairly good night of rest. I want to say that much up front. Let's start though with So, at one point in the night, Min, you are awoken by something. It is a noise that you can't quite place at first. It's sort of it's not following that exact rhythm, but it's this clacking noise that you hear as you sit up in bed. What do you do?
Well, I'm on the floor.
Oh, all right, sit up from the floor then. You realize that there were 2 beds in this room and a fainting couch.
Okay, then I'm taking the fainting couch. Make that.
Okay.
I wasn't sure if the fainting couch would be here tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't want to make people sleep on the floor.
All right, so I'm gonna get up and investigate as best I can without waking the others.
Well, you're pretty quiet, and you already had sort of an idea of where things were coming from in general from that cognition roll. So you follow the sound of it to the wall, and as it gets louder and louder, it gets more distinctly metallic sounding, metal on metal. You didn't, with your conversation and your tiredness, pay too much attention to the fixtures of the room, but in the dark, as your eyes adjust, you see that there's something on the wall. It looks kind of like those tubes that you saw in the office of Mr. McClellan. It has a little mouthpiece that you can flip up, and that mouthpiece it is almost musically clacking. There's no wind. You can hold it in your hands, and it, as you hold it back from clacking shut again, nothing happens. But when you let it go, it goes back to it.
Hmm.
Give me a. Do you have trade railroad worker?
I do. Let me get that.
Okay.
That's a 2.
Okay.
It's been a long night.
That's fair. So you're not entirely sure what it is you're listening to, but it sounds too deliberate to be accidental. You're not sure what's causing it. It's just seems to be kind of moving on its own accord.
Would I recognize it as like Morse code or something?
Yes, that is the reason I asked you to make that roll.
Okay.
You do recognize it as Morse code. You're not able to get the full message because of how tired you are with that roll, but it feels like there's not too many repetitions that it has left, and you're able to get the first couple of characters out before it stops and just stays stopped.
Huh.
You are able to get out. Put this in the chat first. You're able to get out dash dash dot dot dash dot
Hold on. That is dash dash dot dot dash dash dot dot dash dash dot
No, dash dash dot dot dash dot.
dash dot. Okay.
B did put it in the chat so you can see it.
Oh, I must have looked in the wrong chat. Oh, okay. I also put it in a chat.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I can't translate that. It's besides, chances are they're doing it in English anyways, and I'm not
Hmm.
able to read or spell in English.
Well, I'll tell you what. Give me one more roll. I'll say with a +3 using. Yeah, let's go with knowledge.
It's straight knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 9.
You're able to remember enough of the English standard to make out those 3 characters.
Okay.
M-I-N.
Well, now I'm uncomfortable.
Bum bum
The
bum.
lid has stopped moving for the night. You're waiting around for a little while longer to make sure of it, but it stays still. And eventually you're able to get back into a resting posture, if not rest.
Yeah, she's not going to be able to sleep much after that.
Oh, I did already said that y'all are getting an okay rest, but
Okay, not optimal. Let's say that.
all right. From there, let's go to let's go to let's go to Parrot. You at first think that you're dreaming. It sounds like a sound that you have tried to ignore for a very long time. You can hear in your mind the sound of tendrils of flame licking at the wood around you, the snap, crack, the pop of the moisture escaping the building. This is not a unfamiliar memory for Parrot, but it is a little unfamiliar when you wake up and still hear what at first sounds like the same noise, but as you listen to it, you hear it distinct, differentiating itself. What you thought were the licks of fire against the beams of a home is actually scratching, almost scraping, skittering. Might be too small of a word. It is something
It's one I'd rather you didn't use, but okay.
you briefly hear coming from behind your headboard in the wall. And you could swear for just a moment you could hear a voice say something, but you couldn't quite make out what it was. It's as if you were listening to someone speaking a language you didn't know. You're able to recognize from the pattern that they're saying something, deliberate noise, but you're not able to tell quite what it is. But the noise passes, and you're able to fall back asleep.
Okay. Thanks.
No problem. Brigitta, you are having a dream. It is a dream that I would say is also fairly familiar to you. It is of a time back in Sweden. You're outside in the woods with your father. You're learning how to hunt for the first time, perhaps. Though you can see yourself walk with more practiced footsteps than a pure beginner. Then it strikes you as odd. As the progression of the scene unfolds and you and your father continue to walk along the trail path or the hunt, you're not looking at things from your perspective anymore. You're drifting further away into the trees, into the tree line. You settle at a point. You're not sure how high up you are. It feels like you might be even higher up from a vantage point on a hill, perhaps. You're looking through the leaves and the bushes. You're watching you and your father. You can feel the warmth of your breath, hot, heavy, thick with moisture. God damn it. I thought I turned those off. No. No, okay, well. I'll have to
Ruin the moment, why don't you?
I'll have to turn those off manually next time. And you feel disconnected from this. You are watching yourself, but you're also watching someone else. You feel at home in both positions. You see off in the distance, with your father, your young self, turn to scan the hillside for prey. And you see your eyes meet. Silently, she raises a rifle to her shoulder, draws a bead, and the dream ends. Xenobia, you are having a fairly restful night, all things considered. Though you're awoken partway through by a sound at the door. Or you thought it was at the door at first. It's a knocking, a subtle rapping, but the door, no? When you rise to check it, no one's there. You turn to take in the rest of the room, and you see there, at the window frame, 2 stories off the ground, there is a set of hands hanging to the outer sill. With a slick lack of effort, a figure pulls themselves up and sits outside. They're hard to make out details in the darkness, but you can see there's a slender figure dressed in tight winter layers, stringy black hair running over a face partially covered by a muffler. They have your eyes. You can see that the cold blisters of their skin belie scaly quality to their hands as well. They knock at the window again. You hear, "Evening, cuz. You free to talk?" And we'll cut away from that for now. We'll come back to what is said, if anything. But what does Xenobia do in that moment?
Xenobia would get up and have her dagger behind her back as she walks up and gives a big smile and says, "Oh, there's always time for family."
Now, do you want... I'll ask you this, because, like I said, I am more than happy to keep secrets. Do you want to have this conversation here? Or do you want to have it privately?
I think secrecy and well is in the abundance of concern for time that this was probably better served as a private talk for now.
All right. We have one last scene. August. You sleep fairly well, but you still find yourself a little restless in the late hours of the night, early evening. As you stir, you groggily sit up, and you just absent-mindedly let your eyes wander about the room. You didn't see much of it earlier due to other engagements. You see there on the couch, Min sleeps. You see next to you, there sleeps Parrot. Then you see a third bed. You don't see the figure lying in the bed, but you know who it's not. And it certainly wasn't something you recalled when you came in. The figure covered by a white sheet, far too lightweight for the Chicago late winter, early spring, is very small. Couldn't be more than a couple feet tall. Certainly not an adult. A child, maybe. It doesn't strike you as unfamiliar, but you don't see any specific details. You don't need to. You hear, as you take this in, "I'm still here, Nino. I'll always be here." You hear as one long spindly skeletal hand, and then another pulls out from beneath the bed. You see was not a bed at all. The linen sheet turns to a coarse burlap sack as the figure rises from the 4 bed legs, turned humanoid shaped. You don't see anything underneath where the limbs should connect, other than 2 brilliantly glowing eyes like lanterns and a smile far too wide to fit a skull. I'll be waiting, Niño. Take care. And you wake up. There's 2 beds and a couch. No one else is in your room. It's locked, safe, secure. You return to your nice warm bed. Maybe you eventually find some measure of rest. But you know that despite how far you've come, despite how far you've run, it has traveled just as far. Eventually you fall back into a not as restful sleep. And the sun comes, morning rises, and there will be time for another day full of intrigue and adventure and chances to get into all sorts of ne'er-do-well activities, if you so like. But for now, we'll call it here. You'll have to see where the story goes next time, in 2 weeks' time, for the 2nd episode of Deadlands, Wayward Guns. Thank you all very, very much. I have been Peculiar Little Rabbit, Beatrix Bunny. I am your Marshal and storyteller for this story. And I would like to go through the cast again to give everyone a chance to give some shout outs if you would like. You're welcome to plug anything that you want. Oh my gosh, thank you very much, Lytro. Let's start from the bottom this time. So first up is Obsidia.
Yeah, thank you so much for watching us in this fantabulous adventure. My name is Obsidia. I'm everybody's favorite Death Knight. I'm a variety streamer of a beautiful Death Knight in my free time. I also DM Dungeons and Dragons if you ever want to come check me out over on my channel, which you did a shout out, so I don't even have to bother linking my Twitch. That's like the best of all possible worlds. So thank you, and thank you to our fantabulous Marshal. Love you, B.
Oh, thank you. All right. Unfortunately, I can't create a queue of shout out commands, but I can still start y'all off with the next shout out. Hemlock.
Hello. I am Hemlock. I am a V artist, model maker, that kind of thing. You can find me on Twitch or Twitter. I believe I link to my personal website on both.
Hey. Let's see if it will let me. I know there's a cooldown time, unfortunately, so I'll get them event. Wait, actually, what am I doing? There's a much easier way to do this.
Just linking the channel.
If you use the command !cast, you get a full link.
Look at
of
that.
All of
Look at
the
that galaxy brain
creators.
move. It's like what I did.
Boom.
That was so powerful.
That was a big power play right there. Just boom.
And next is going to be Geronimo.
Hello, my name's Geronimo Kiddo. I'm a Bat VTuber. Wife, mother, video game lover, huge fan of horror. And yeah, I am honored to be playing with these people because I'm very new to this, and they've taken their time to show me the way. And B, you're a wonderful dungeon master. Wonderful
Oh,
people.
thank you.
Wonderful people, wonderful master. Yep, yep, yep. Much love.
All right. And Epitome, I know that you are not a content creator, but if you'd like, you can cede your time to promote something else.
So normally, I'm Epitome. I am B's partner and jokingly say executive producer. I don't really have any socials to promote unless you absolutely want to see me reblog things on Twitter. I normally in this time slot I'm going to be promoting a charity of some kind, but I have not had the time to pick one out this week. So go watch Glass Onion.
All right.
It's very good.
Did you say
And
The Last Onion?
Glass Onion.
It's the
Glass
sequel to
Onion.
Knives Out.
Oh.
It's on Netflix. It's very, very good.
that's
Ooh.
actually where I pulled the face claim idea from Leslie Odom Jr. Is he doesn't miss. He does good performances, and this is no exception. And last but not least, Ellie.
Hi, thank you so much for watching. I'm Eliador. You can find me on Twitch or Twitter, although Twitch I'm very rarely streaming, but I do sometimes stream, mostly anything really, video games mostly. Recently been doing Wind Waker randomizers. It's been a lot of fun.
Mm.
All right. Yeah, so this was the first time I did all of this. It, I learned some valuable things. Like, for instance, I am going to make sure that we don't do the exclamation point shout out and that I fully disable the sound alerts. I will say, though, it is a testament to how wonderful an audience y'all are that we went that long before one happened. I had resigned myself to there was probably going to be at least one or two, but props to all of y'all. Thank you all so, so much for swinging by to watch the premiere. This is going to be going up on my YouTube channel, which you can find links to those over here, along with the Discord if you want to keep in touch with the stuff, the Twitter. If anyone wants to post anything about this series, whether it be artwork or reactions or anything, just use the hashtag. I didn't bother to check to make sure, but I'm pretty sure Wayward Guns isn't a thing otherwise.
You're
Yeah,
releasing
there's
a
no
hashtag
results.
10 seconds after
Yeah.
I posted artwork.
Oh, you posted artwork already. Shit.
Look,
I'll kill you.
I'm
Oh.
sorry.
Just delete the
I'll
post. Do it again.
reply-
Another
Do it
one.
again.
Reply with the hashtag.
Yeah, but if you want to talk about it on Twitter, use the hashtag Wayward Guns. And we'll be back for episode 2 of Once Upon a Time in the Midwest for 2 weeks from now. All right. One last thing before we go. I would like to give everyone some rewards here. These are fate chips. They are your experience points and also luck manipulation if you need a little extra oomph. And I kind of get to hand these out as I feel appropriate. I am going to say that they will not all be equal, because that's just how things have to work sometime. But I am going to, let's see. Let's see if I can set this so I can pick this. so clumsy with these. Well, I am going to... Oh. I don't remember how to, so I won't be able to actually give the chips tonight, but I am going to say a white chip for everyone because y'all showed up, and y'all really showed up. And, oh,
We actually were all dealt chips. Is that the ones you mean?
those are actually just granted. Y'all get those by...
Okay, so this is in addition to these.
Yes. Oh, also, Epitome raised a good point. The 12th is something that I am doing on... So I think it would have to be, let's see, I think would the 26th of January be the next week on for
I think
everyone?
so, yes. I think so.
All right. So, well, that means we've got plenty of time for me to try and cook something worthy of these wonderful Wayward guns. So, join us January 26th for the next episode. And thank you all so much. Thank you again.
Thank you, B.
No, thank
Thank
you.
you, B.
Thank you, B.
All right. And